Welcome to the garden that is Send Us Flowers, where we are only growing the absolute best vibes. I'm your host, Busy. You can find me at That's Busy on almost all platforms except TikTok because they really don't like weed. And you can find me on Send Us Flowers everywhere else. I have a very special guest today, Robert Holland, the snack strategist and entrepreneur extraordinaire. Like, you really are one of the smartest people I know. And
well,
not even
thank you.
like, I'm just so excited for other people to hear from you today.
Wow. Well, I couldn't be more excited to be here. You're an absolute inspiration of mine for sure in terms of everything you've been building here in the podcast and with the studio. And excited to, talk a little bit about my own little journey that we've been on.
Yeah, that's why we're here. Okay, so we have a really cool episode today, both, professional and personal.
We'll get into it.
Yeah, we'll take some dabs for sure, some more dabs.
I'll be convinced.
Okay, amazing. So I really want to know first who you're sending flowers to. I want to know about, how Pride went for you, how June went. I know you did a Pride pack. I want to know what else is in your bag. And then we're going to talk about everything from building an edible business to maybe some of your dating life. And
oh, wow. Gay in Los Angeles.
I mean, queer community, they want to know. Literally had someone ask today, like, how do they meet other gay people? And so I feel like that might be something you know about.
Yeah, where should we start?
Okay, first, who are you sending flowers to?
Okay. So I mean, honestly, I think I want to send flowers to like so many different people in the industry. It's like been so interesting to kind of like gain mentors throughout my time. Like I've been working in cannabis for 4.5 years, which feels like a lifetime. And I'm sure there's so many people who've been 10, 15, 20, and there's so much transformation happening. But for me, I'm so excited to send flowers to Roberta Wilson. She's the co-founder and like CEO of Dr. Norm's Cookies. Big inspiration of mine. We'll talk about it, but I have a little edible brand and, we're manufactured right next to each other. She comes to work every day, so dedicated and loves the community and the whole cannabis industry. And it's been amazing to kind of have that role model throughout the journey.
Amazing. I met her briefly.
Oh, yes.
When we were at the factory, at the warehouse.
Oh, yes,
or the
of course.
manufacturing
Oh my gosh,
place. I don't actually know what it's called. Offices. The place.
This is so funny that you have this problem because I have this exact problem.
Okay,
sometimes
what is it called?
Sometimes I call it HQ.
Yeah, because you do refer to it. So you're like, oh, I'm at Tempo. Oh, I'm at
it's
so
like,
many different things.
I have to do like a late night trip, mid-morning run to the manufacturing facility where we produce Tempo crackers. It's been really amazing. I've been building a company in the like in-between moments of my like additional life, which is like so wild. But I think if anyone listening to this is interested in starting a small business, do it. Just do it.
Which is growing into a big business, by the way. Okay, and so before we get ahead of ourselves, you're building a cracker company, an infused cracker company.
I am.
Called Tempo. And it's amazing. You've definitely seen me talk about it, post about it. They get me ripped. I love
we try our best, to make sure the customers are happy.
So why we were at the manufacturing facility is because you hosted an event to help determine all of the different flavors and celebrate and do videos, and it was so much fun.
Yeah,
I was also
incredible.
That's why I was like, oh yeah, we got absolutely ripped.
Remembering the time we got really stoned on Tempo. Incredible. I mean, it's been super fun. It's fun you bring that up because, we just launched 3 new flavors. As you said, we're the very first precision dosed edible snack. So each individual cracker is the exact same dosage, which is might be like something that you're like, oh, well, obviously, because all other edibles,
not obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All other edibles on the market, that is kind of like a part of their whole offering, right? One gummy is this milligram dosage, it's 5, it's 10, one piece of chocolate is this. And I think as an edible consumer primarily, you know, it's super funny. We took a little rip before and you were smoking a full bowl, and I don't really smoke flower. I'm a concentrate and edible customer, and I'm looking for dosage consistency so I can understand, you know, what's my equivalent to one joint? You know, what's the 5 milligram, 10 milligram I'm going to go for it. And so Tempo is the first precision dosed snack with each individual cracker, same dosage. And we recently just came out with these 3 new flavors, salt and vinegar, buffalo cheddar, and my very favorite, truffle parmesan. So and good. They were incubated in this very studio, which is so exciting because, you know, Tempo has really been a community-based brand, you know, leveraging the insights of the people in the industry who are willing and excited to kind of collaborate on building something new. And thank you so much for always being one of those people.
Oh my God. I am always down to be a Tempo guinea pig. And I'm sure many other people would be too. We have to do like a huge taste testing.
Well, there might be like, some new flavors in the pie.
Oh my God. Okay, so, you know, rewind a little bit. Why did you want to start Tempo? What was the inspiration there? And were you already doing a 9 to 5 when you started?
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story, but I think something that like a lot of people probably experienced in the pandemic, which is, you know, I was working and I still work a full 9 to 5 job, which is, I mean, is really important for a small business founder to make sure that they have like stable income and all those different pieces. But I think for me was looking for an opportunity to, when I joined the cannabis industry, like one, make my mark, but also look for products that like represented me, right? And I actually grew up in like the snack belt of the US. So
wait, what is the snack belt of the US?
I love it. So the central like section of the US, like really the Sun Belt, because a lot of larger food manufacturers are looking for a lot of like land, a lot of warehouse space, built a lot of their headquarters in these like non-city spaces, right? And whole communities have built up around them. So I grew up in the town, which is now a very, you know, like thriving metropolis outside of Dallas, Plano, Texas, which is the headquarters of Frito-Lay. Next time you pick up any bag of chips, look at the back. It was made in my hometown. It's actually so fun. It's a little trick I have. Like I'll pick up some random new flavor and be like 75023. So
you were literally born for this.
Yeah, and so I came to, I mean, no, but yes. Starting at age like 8, you can start going to market research studies where you do flavor tastings very similar to what we did with the 3 flavors here, where they're gaining feedback on texture, flavor, saltiness, crunchiness, the whole experience. And I think at such a young age, I was like so impressed to see this level of dedication to quality and innovation coming from a company that, you know, it's just sitting on your cabinet shelf, right?
Right.
But it really, like all food products in the United States have that level of just constant discussion. And I like love that about the CPG consumer world, which is like why I've really enjoyed working in cannabis as it kind of transforms into something of that nature.
Wow. And you're leading that charge too.
We're creating a whole new category from the outset, right? There have been snack products on the market for probably the last 5 years. And, you know, most of them have made their mark and have gained a lot of initial interest. You know, there was a popcorn, you know, I've seen granola, I've seen Cheetos, you know, we have a really amazing friend in our journey, Sumo Snacks, which also makes Cheetos and all these other products. And I think as the shelf continues to build itself, it's really about like trying to figure out how we can work together to make it differentiated from just edibles as a general category. Which has been really fun.
Well, and what's so cool is I know how much passion you have about finding the perfect crunch, the perfect flavors. Like I really am, I'm making eye contact with you. I'm not kidding. Like this
For
guy,
the people on just audio, she's making eye contact.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's actually happening.
Like through your speakers, just look at your speakers, or maybe don't if you're driving. Anyway, so look, I really have never met someone who is like so passionate about what they're building. You think about every detail and you ask people questions. You do look to the community for insight. And I think that's so cool. And I never knew that about your past and how it's so tied to that today.
Exactly. I mean, it's been a really cool transformation. I went from, at a young age, kind of like experiencing this like snack product. One of my first jobs, I worked at a movie theater. I was the top Hershey's salesperson in the month of August in 2012 or something, 2010.
Did they give you like an award or
Yeah,
anything?
I won the national sales competition for Hershey Sales, and
What?
I won my theater a $1,000 budget to run a party, and we threw a laser tag event inside of the movie theater after it closed. And it was amazing.
I'm sorry. This is the coolest thing ever.
But that's just the first step, Then I went to college. One of my first jobs I worked in strategy consulting for consumer brands. And I worked at some of these companies where we were doing the same sort of like product analysis, supply chain finance. And there's so much in that in terms of, how that entire category and industry is built.
Yeah.
That I think the cannabis industry is just starting to figure out, right? Because a lot of the technology systems, a lot of the infrastructure that supports those industries just doesn't, work with cannabis yet.
Yeah.
So it's been really interesting to kind of like watch that transformation from the inside.
Wow.
But yeah, as I came here to California, I was looking around and I said, well, where are the chips? Like, I am not that interested. I'm not really someone who likes to eat a lot of candy. Like, the small exception of Sour Patch Kids. But
yeah, I mean, I love candy. I just don't love how I feel after like eating a ton of it. And especially if because I'm a higher dose consumer too. And so like, I want something I can maybe more snack on.
This is interesting that you're making this point though, because
it?
Yeah, I love the discussion about dosage specifically as it relates to edible products and, snacking overall and like the whole thing. Because, I think one of the biggest challenges that all companies have right now, but specifically the edibles category, is that if you line up like 100 customers who go into a dispensary, on average, most of those people are going to tell you 5 to 10 milligrams is their dosage.
If they even utilize edibles, because so many people are still scarred from like stories or previous experiences. I've had people who are like a crazy age range watch this podcast and say like, oh my God, I hear you talk about like 50 milligram this or whatever. Like I am taking 2.5 milligrams. And so when I am home or, with people at parties, I always do bring Tempo because of the dosages. Sorry, I just had to share that.
No, that's super important, right? So like, okay, you have that group of people, let's say 80 of them, 5 to 10 milligrams. There's 20 people at the end of the line. I might be that person. You're probably that person, if you're a more regular day consumer, using cannabis for anxiety, depression, etc., microdosing, etc., your dosage could be and is likely between like 25, 50, right? There's also 3 customers at the end of the line that their dosage is 200.
Yeah.
And they are medical customers. They're customers and cancer patients who are looking for products that work for them.
Right.
Specifically low sugar products because sugar is like especially bad.
It's inflammatory.
Exactly. And so those customers at the end actually have the most market power, which like, if you're just like a random person coming in, you might be like, what? That doesn't make any sense. But imagine everyone pulls the money out of their wallet they're going to spend on cannabis this month. The people at the end have bags,
Yeah.
They're spending a lot more money. And
Totally.
so like weighted average, like the average customer dosage you need to probably be catering to is 25 to 50. And so dosability, but also snackability is what you need. You need to be able to, make everyone happy who wants 5.
Right.
But then also be like, wow, it's really great if you just want to eat the whole thing as well.
Yeah, which I often do. So, or you can put it on your mac and cheese.
Exactly.
Pizza.
And mac and cheese is a great option, right? Because like
charcuterie.
For me, I'll take 3 and I'll crush them up on mac and cheese, and I've achieved 15. And I have a really clear understanding of exactly the dosage I'm getting, which is super nice, even if it is a higher dosage.
Okay, so I have a theory to run by you. I one time put the crumpled crackers on top of my mac and cheese, and then I put it back in the oven for just like a little bit longer, just
crisp.
Like a little, yeah. But I felt higher later.
Oh, wow.
Like, I don't know if it like activated it a little bit more, or I was lit. So if anyone wants to try that, and also let me know how that goes for you.
My question would be, do you have a control sample where you did the same thing but didn't put it in the oven?
No, I just know how I felt.
Okay. So I would say one of the things that's actually really interesting about cannabis and edible products, which people don't like think about, but is like, as you get into it, a very clear part of the experience is that the THC is all about how quickly it is bioavailable and metabolized within your body.
Yeah.
Right. And so that differentiation in terms of experience is almost all about ingestion, right? Which gets you into the question about food science and how available the product is, right? So a drink, a gummy, nano-emulsified products, you will uptake really quickly. And I like to think about my high experience as like a line graph. Maybe it's because I'm like a nerd, but...
No.
We all are. But for those in the car, line graph where it goes, sort of directly up in a quick spike because you're getting that THC rush at the same time that you're getting the sugar rush. And then very quickly you see that decline very quickly because you've already metabolized all the sugar. It's out of your system. And some people really look at that as a great experience, and it is in many occasions, right, to have a very short window of edible high. But for longer, lower dose or microdose customers who are kind of looking to be at a lower level of high for a longer period of time, fat-based edibles are better to sort of have that full-bodied experience.
Okay.
And so you can think about the uptake time being a little bit longer, 30 to 35 minutes instead of 20, and then lasting 2 to 3 hours in your body in comparison to, the short 1.5 to 2 hour window that you might get from a nano-emulsified gummy or drink product.
What do you think of people who say edibles don't essentially work for them?
So frequently, I would say those are customers who've only had sugar-based edibles. And so their body either does not metabolize sugar effectively, right? Which is a lot of people in the US specifically. We're being constantly sort of like bombarded with sugar. And your body doesn't fully metabolize the THC, which is bonded to those molecules. And so if you're consuming a fat-based edible like a cookie, like a brownie, and like a cracker. All of our products are made with butter or vegan butter, depending on the cracker. We have 4 vegan flavors. Time initially for the uptake of the THC is a little bit longer because you're consuming that fat over time, which is pretty nice. And I really like because it allows you to kind of layer edibles over time and have a more controlled experience.
Wow, that's incredible. And so what are you working on now? Can you share?
There's a few things we're thinking about.
Okay.
We've had a lot of requests to have more crackers, smaller dosage.
Ooh.
And then we've also had a lot of requests to have less crackers, higher dosage, which is also a wild request. So I don't know if anyone's heard of the one chip challenge, but
I was about to like, would it just be one gigantic?
I don't know that it needs to be gigantic.
I feel like the size though could be kind of fun. I'm picturing something comically large.
Yeah. You're a size queen. No, but it's funny that you say that because those like different form factors, whether it be 1 cracker, 50 crackers, 10, whatever, offer an opportunity for us to like talk more about like these different potencies that we're providing to the customer and different effects. And for me, I like to think about those in the same way that we just talked about the, sort of uptake pattern, right?
Yeah.
In that they all have their own line graph that you're going to experience. And we actually visualize the different highs through those different line graphs on the boxes. Do you want to see?
Yes. What? Okay. And what is in your bag?
Oh. Yeah. I brought my cute little new backpack today.
Wait, let me see that. It's also accessories.
Yeah, this is like a classic. You've seen everyone
classic,
with it,
yeah.
and you've always been like, "What is that? How do I
So
pronounce it?"
what is that? How do you pronounce it?
I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
Mark is saying Fial Raven, which I don't know what that means.
And moving on. But it's a cute bag.
This is our little pride pack. It's a 6-pack of all of our favorite flavors. Each of the boxes here are 100 milligrams, 5 THC per cracker, 20 crackers per box. And then you can see we have all the different flavors. Each of our boxes and flavor profiles have different effects, and the wave patterns are different on each of them. So let me show you a few of my faves. We have Chili Limon, which you can see this is our sativa cracker. So 5 milligrams per cracker, but the wave pattern goes up in an initial spike and then has like a higher frequency, higher tempo wave. In comparison to, let's say, our truffle parmesan here, which is a more balanced wave pattern. It's a 1-to-1 THC CBD, but since it's 5 milligrams, it has the same frequency, but a different amplitude. So the effect that you experience is more balanced, but you'll feel like equally as wavy, if that makes sense.
Okay, like, sorry, I'm like hitting the mic, so I'm trying not to like, I'm trying to contain myself because what the fuck, Robert? Okay, so I told you all, for my audio listeners, I just need to make eye contact again. I told you all, this is like one of the smartest people I know, and literally from like the grand concept of his birth, where he was born, and how you incorporated, I'm screaming, how you incorporated all of that into this is so beautiful. I don't think I realized that about that. Now I feel so stupid, but
no, it's amazing.
Oh my God.
I think part of like brand building is about creating layers. Right?
Every detail. It's like this, it's the most layered onion I've ever
and so the more that you can like kind of get the customer to be initially pulled in and then keep pulling them, you know?
Pulled. I'm bought in.
Yeah, so our last effect, so this is our awake and then our transcend.
I was already bought in, but
awake and then create, and our last effect, which is our low dose cracker, super nice. The rosemary, sea salt, and black pepper are both 2 THC and 6 CBD, so it's a very low dose, very nice mellow high. Yeah, it makes you feel like you're floating a little bit, and that wave pattern is about half the frequency, so much lower dose kind of experience, and spreads out across the box.
Incredible. What?
So you imagine if we went to higher dose cracker, you know, we might have to raise the BPM.
And the size. I'm going to work on it. We're going to work on it.
Anyway.
Okay, so what else are you smoking? What else is in your bag?
Oh,
I don't know how you're going to top that, but
no. Oh my gosh.
We can try.
I'm not one of those brand founders that's like, I only consume this product.
I mean, that's just unrealistic.
That's unrealistic, and I think there's a space for everything. We are super excited and like proud to be a partner and a part of the Punch Extracts and Punch Edibles family. So the other thing in my bag, as you can see, I am a
It's
Puffco
another
fanatic.
bag.
There's a bag in the bag for sure. But also I have 3 different rosins from Punch Extracts. I've been really into their rosin lately. They have amazing terp profiles, and they do these like small batch collabs with different farms, which you can see on like each of the different grams here, which is pretty amazing. So we have Lemon Honey Z, which is like a perfect like limonene moment. I will like dab this and then have my chili limon, which is our like awake sort of limonene cracker. And then we have Gary Payton and the banana papaya Wilson. Do you want to try?
I don't even know which one I want first.
They're all so good.
Okay, I'll do the one with the Z.
Lemon Honey Z.
Yeah.
Great choice.
Because does it have a little bit of candy in it?
I believe so.
Little candy terps?
You know, I wish I knew more,
Okay.
Which I'm sure I could look it up.
Okay. But we'll taste it.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Anything else in your bag?
Yes. I mean, I guess the last thing, you know, I am definitely someone who uses cannabis, you know, frequently. I don't know if daily, but primarily for you know, the ability to achieve specific effects. You know, I use it in a very utilitarian way.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important to have like purpose as you consume cannabis, whether you're relaxing or looking for energy or, you know, looking for something there specifically. So I really love these like level pro tabs. They have really specific effects. And I've been really digging the Boost, which has the new THCV cannabinoid, which is great for energy and also is like an appetite suppressant. So it's super nice. And you can kind of avoid the like just like munchies, you know, hole that I frequently go down as someone who loves to snack.
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Says the person who got a creme brulee from Whole Foods last night.
I'm amazed by your decisions on a daily basis.
And a Napoleon.
What is a Napoleon?
It's like it's an Italian dessert.
Interesting. Yeah, so this is like,
basically I just ate a lot of desserts.
When dessert comes around, I'm like, can I have another order of breadsticks?
You don't like dessert at all?
No.
What?
Don't like eating ice cream. Really am never going to be seeking out chocolate.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've always like gone to snacks as like a kind of a little dessert moment. In high school, if I was having a bad day, I would go to the movie theater and eat a family-sized bag of Doritos.
That's a coping method.
It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how was June? How was Pride?
Oh, yes. We didn't get into it. Pride was great. You know, it's been super amazing. We obviously launched the Pride Pack in support of Pride Month and have really just been, you know, every weekend at a different retailer popping up. We're doing crazy deals. You can get all 6 flavors for only $30, which is nuts.
Wow.
And as a part of the deal, we hand out these little mini snacking cheeses. People get to build their own charcuterie as soon as they get home in terms of pairing the cheese and crackers together. And really, honestly, launching a brand is all about developing partnerships with local retailers who are devoted to building the category with you.
Yeah.
So it's been amazing. I wish I had more time to relax in June, but it's also so motivating every day to wake up doing something you love.
Right. And so what has it been like building something, you know, for the queer community or also in the queer community? And what is that acceptance like, you know, versus alcohol, like what we were talking about, you know, before this?
That's such an important point that you bring up because it's really interesting. You know, I'm young. I live in Los Angeles. You know, I'm single. And I don't find myself in West Hollywood every weekend because I don't really like to drink. And I feel like the queer space generally, especially with younger people, is so alcohol centric that it can be kind of divisive. And so it's been awesome to be able to start to create like a different type of, you know, queer space. We did a party in partnership with Drew Martin, actually, and it was like a pool party. And there's nothing honestly better than getting a little stoned with your friends and like going in the pool.
Yeah.
So I like really spend as much time as possible outside at the beach, at the pool, really enjoying the city we're in. And it's so cool when you can like start to find people in the queer community doing that same thing.
Yeah.
And there always are like such a variety of spaces. You know, if you're not in West Hollywood, there's a gay beach in Santa Monica that is constantly covered in men in Speedos and pride flags. And it's always a fun time.
Okay, amazing.
And great place to get stoned. And I think it is about like intentionally seeking out opportunities to meet the kind of people in the community that, you know, you vibe with, for example, even if they're not being portrayed in popular media.
Interesting.
A lot of the initial cannabis legalization movement was being led by, you know, queer individuals and activists who were fighting for the opportunity for cannabis to be legalized for their like brothers and sisters who were all, you know, dealing with the AIDS epidemic. And so, I mean, it's so like odd to now be, you know, fully in that situation, and the industry has been fully legalized, and it to be less accepted than the like WeHo, you know, community, I guess.
Yeah, and there's so many lounges in West Hollywood, or two. But I feel like there's, you know, there's more coming, and there's so many different like drag shows with cannabis, and, you know, even like very famous drag queens who are in cannabis and work in it. So I think it's just a cool community, even to see Puffed Out and other, you know, like LGBTQ IA-led brands and communities and organizations. Like, I feel that those spaces weren't as present before.
Yeah, it's amazing to kind of like watch it be built outside of the industry more generally, right? Because like I actually find that most of my experiences when it comes to cannabis, like throughout just like my college time, living in New York, everything there, were actually very queer centric, right? Like more frequently, I find more acceptance in the cannabis community for queer individuals than you might find elsewhere. But then sort of like in the public image of it, it's not exactly being represented, which is super interesting.
That is really fascinating. Why do you think that is?
I wish I knew.
Just like general stigma.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, putting another piece of opportunity for criticism, right? You find most of the, you know, sort of queer celebrities and icons out there in the world are already facing so much criticism that, you know, throwing something else out there for the public to take hold of might be a challenge.
That's a really good point.
And so it's so important for us to kind of like build a more intersectional space where we have people of different races, ethnicities, dosages, being represented as, you know, queer people.
That's so cool. I love that this can incorporate everything, everyone, and what you're building. You know, it's so inspirational because like there are younger people out there who look up to you and want to like pursue,
that
you
feels
know,
wild.
I
to
know,
even say, you know,
but they do. And so I'm curious, what is some advice you would give to a young entrepreneur who is looking to enter this space and build?
It's a great question. You know, as we talked about at the very beginning, if you have an idea for a small business and you feel really passionate about it, just go do it. Just try it out, you know, at the smallest scale possible. Just go see what the response is, right? Nothing's going to go perfectly, but you're going to get a signal. You're going to get an understanding of whether to take the next step, right?
Yeah.
And I think I process my life and also think about keeping myself motivated all in a set of steps, right? Like building a business doesn't just happen overnight. Building a category doesn't happen overnight. Anything you're doing as an entrepreneur, you're going to be constantly met with not exactly like a question of what you're doing, but the constant self-question of, should I continue?
Yeah. Right.
And if you can keep making those small little steps and keep getting the positive signals, they'll continue to build that flywheel over time. And so I think it's about, you know, finding that motivation on an ongoing basis.
Okay. So you have a crazy schedule then? Because something that I noticed at the beginning, you mentioned how important it is for founders to be honest about, having a 9 to 5 and maintaining, a more balanced lifestyle, because you do have to pay rent, you have to pay bills, you have to fund, your business. And what is that like for you to have, a 9 to 5 and then a 5 to 9, 10,
it's so
11,
funny.
12?
It's so funny you say the 5 to 9 and then the 9 to 5 and then the 5 to 9, because at the very beginning, we actually initially received the first like big signal, which was Punch making the decision to invest in the idea and partner with us to, sort of build the snack category in March of 2020.
Crazy.
March 3rd. We all know what happened on the 13th, right? And so like the whole shifting of the just like way that we structured our day was actually a big driver of the initial opportunity here, which was
right. Okay.
What were we all doing? We were just sitting around in our houses. I was like, might as well build a company. Like, sounds more interesting than staring at the wall or looking at the numbers, And so, I really spent a lot of that initial time in the pandemic turning inward and focusing on how we could develop this concept together, which meant I was working completely remote 9 to 5 in a full corporate job. And then at the end of the day, from 5 to sometimes midnight, sometimes 1 a.m., driving to a facility, learning how to make crackers, buying equipment, figuring out the dosages. And there's a lot of steps involved in the initial production process to get to where we are today. And we've been through so many iterations that we've really started incorporating it in the way that we present ourselves to customers. Like, we are going to be constantly innovating. Expect 3 new flavors. They will be there because I want to know, and you should tell us, what do you like best? Which one is the one that we should double down on and try something new? Do you want a 100 milligram cracker? Do you want a 25 milligram cracker? Do you want 100 1 milligram crackers? What's your tempo?
My tempo? Okay, I am going to have one of these.
Oh, chili limon.
And then I was going to ask, so now that things like travel and kind of pre-pandemic life is starting to pick back up again, how are you maintaining, like how do you do the morning routine? How do you maintain, like friendships, dating, your just everyday lifestyle, gym? Because you really do it all. And
it is possible, guys.
It's so inspiring. And so,
Thank you.
I want to know what the day of a snack strategist is like.
It's so fun that you say that. Honestly, I have started to wake up at like 5:30, 5:45 every day. I have a beautiful 2-year-old all black kitten who sleeps in my bed every night, and he's amazing.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I can help you with this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
my nails are
prohibitive.
I have to get them done.
And so my cat wakes me up. I have really gotten into, if you haven't already heard about it, cold exposure. So I love starting my day with a ice cold shower. Really wakes you up. It's an incredible way to like relax your body, and just like an incredible way to have like a great rest of your day in terms of like all the dopamine and things that it produces within your body.
I know you love the cold plunges.
Yeah, I could ice bath at any moment. I usually try and work through like all of my emails as I'm like kind of having coffee in the morning, and like set an agenda for the day, because I really work on a very calendar based world, like I live in my Google Calendar.
Do you time block?
I time block everything, mostly because, I work for a company that is exclusively remote. And so the entirety of our day is in our calendar. And I have given an open calendar policy to everyone. So if there's an open slot on my calendar, you can take it, like if I have not blocked it, which I think is really important because it like removes the initial, hey, do you want to have a meeting? Like just let's move into it. And as a result, sometimes I'll start my workday and I will have Zoom meetings from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. which is absolutely wild to be able to figure out how to work in that format. But it is also really empowering because you have so much opportunity to work together in a very systematic way without really having to leave your house, which is nice. Then if I have like a tempo project, we frequently bake night shift. So we work at a facility, we share an oven. And so I will go supervise a bake, or we're working through a new flavor, or we're having an issue with an ingredient that needs to be sourced. And so I don't do the actual manufacturing. Punch Edibles is our contract manufacturer. They're incredible. But obviously they're on a consultory basis. And then Fridays, Saturdays, I'm hitting the dispensary and we're selling crackers.
He is. I can promise you that.
Yeah, there you go.
And then sometimes we play Catan.
Oh, the Catan is a great little in-between in there.
Yeah. We call you King Robert. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know this. That's amazing.
I was going to surprise you with that.
It's a great surprise.
He wins almost every time.
I'm a benevolent king, though, right?
I also, though, win a bunch.
Yeah, I'm not that good at
But
Catan.
you did win the last, 3 games.
Resource allocation games are very fun.
I know. But yeah, you're an incredibly hard worker. And it's really cool that you're able to block your time out. I mean, I know so many people have horrible time management skills.
I have horrible time management skills. I have the most ADHD you ever imagined. And so I have just found ways to really aggressively harness it, like
THCVA.
Exactly.
I want to try just a day of that and see how it goes.
Level makes a THCV exclusive product that there's no THC in it. It's a great sort of energizer throughout the day for sure.
Wow. Just
you heard it here first.
Yeah, no, this is the best tip because I'm always looking for Adderall, or not that it's an Adderall comparison, but I'm always looking for of something that helps me focus and energize.
Yeah, exactly. Focus is such a hard thing to achieve for sure. Especially we're being constantly inundated by stimulants in terms of TikTok and Instagram and the notification center and oh my God, the Apple Watch.
Yeah.
And so you can have a decision in your mind where you say okay, I'm just going to try and avoid all of this. There's so much happening.
Yeah.
Or you can make the decision how do I harness this?
Yeah.
Right? I'm a crazy person harnessing technology to try and train my body to do the thing I wanted to do. Because I think at the end of the day, we're all working inside of the system that is the life we're building each day,
I got that book.
I'm so glad. If you need a book recommendation, speaking to you, get Thinking in Systems. Look it up. The cover has a slinky on it. Change your life.
Robert was making eye contact for all the audio listeners.
I think they heard the eye contact in my voice change.
Great. Fantastic. No, but I think it's just, I love the recommendation. But how do you maintain, friendships, dating within this schedule of yours?
That's wild to think about as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's similar in that, you have to be flexible in that same schedule that you're building to carve out that time.
Yeah.
So sometimes I mentally block a whole weekend. I say, I'm not going to be working this weekend. Cannot work at all,
Does that work?
It does. And it's honestly great. I'll take a whole Sunday and just go to the beach, talk to no one. And it's really nice to have that kind of retreat. Or, this whole day I'm going to go spend with this one person. I'm going to leave my phone in the car, I think it's important to have that level of detachment. But then when you jump back into the matrix that we live in, I'm the person who's getting a notification on my watch every single time someone visits the Tempo Crackers website. Because I want to know where people are searching from, you know? And it's actually been extremely helpful.
Oh, we can't go down that rabbit hole because we have to just talk about this off camera because we talk all day about SEO.
Well, obviously all those SEOs and things, and there's a value to the analytics and everything, but it's also really, really empowering to have a conversation with someone just like offhand. You're like, oh, I do crackers or whatever. You're just talking to someone, whatever. And then 15 seconds later, after you jump off the call, you get a website hit from that location. And you have this immediate feedback that's like crazy.
Wow.
So it's interesting from a temporal perspective to get it differently than like, oh, I like looked at the end of the month to see where my traffic was coming from.
Right. Wow, that's incredible. I wonder if you could set up like a globe with little dots on it and kind of
like a little map.
Yeah.
I love
and it
a
could
heat
like
map.
ping.
Anyway,
sorry.
We're nerding out.
Yeah, no, this is not okay. That's why this was not a good idea in a way, except that it was amazing because
The cracker or the dab?
all of the things.
Yeah, talk to me about chili limon.
I can nerd out all day and talk about all of these things for a million hours. Okay, the dab put me on another fucking planet for like 15 minutes.
I love that you've had like the limonene bite, you know? So we talked about the terpenes earlier. This is chili to arbol and lemon zest, which has a limonene carryoffline profile, but you also had the lemon honey Z. And so you're on like a double limonene journey, which is amazing.
I will say I love the flavor that's like the deep kind of smokiness towards the back of my throat.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have like the tingly spice still toward the front. And it creates a nice warmth that's like a hug in my mouth.
I love that.
And then there's just like the citrusy, you know, like the pucker on the sides of your cheeks. It's just kind of like there. And I dig it.
Incredible. And you have to think like, okay, this is the first 15 seconds of your high. You're at the beginning of your journey. What's your trajectory, you know?
My tempo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like we're setting you off on that spike that you want to see at the beginning, you know, in terms of that initial flavor bomb in your mouth.
Absolutely. Wow. I can't wait. And then I mean, I already know how I'm going to feel. And it's fantastic, but but I really love the combo. I love the intention behind flavor pairings and everything you're doing there. And I just really appreciate you sharing so much of your journey today and other tangents.
So much. We really went all over the map. I
hope
everyone enjoyed it.
I mean, I personally am just going to watch this back because we have to take notes.
On how to do this exact thing again.
All the strategy.
Incredible.
Be able to, you know, beat you in Catan.
You want to see the inside of the... Oh my God, my friend says this all the time. They're just waiting for my head to crack open and a mini version of my cat to be just controlling my brain from the inside.
I do love Cody. He's so cute. We'll put a photo up. Maybe... You could have brought him.
It's like a Ratatouille moment, you know?
I would adore that, honestly. I could see that.
Yeah, we love Cody.
Yeah, this is a Cody.
Follow Agent Cody Banks 420 on Instagram for recent updates.
Yeah, where are all the places people can find you online?
Oh, yeah. My personal Instagram, Holland J. Robert. Super fun. And you can obviously follow Tempo Crackers and our journey at Tempo Crackers. And then my amazing cat, Agent Cody Banks 420.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today. Are there any things that you want to share before we depart?
My final parting words are, if you buy a box of Tempo Crackers, read the bottom of the box.
Yes. Do that. I was going to read the bottom of the box, but you know what? You're going to have to find out for yourself. Because it's so cute and really beautiful.
It's an experience.
There's so much intention, literally on every side, even of the box down to the cracker itself. But I'm so happy that you got to share so much today and get me pretty lit.
Likewise.
And I can't wait to have you back on to nerd out again. Because, okay, you have to come back on because there's so many more other things that I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, we'll be back. There will be new flavors, new tempos, and hopefully new things happening in my life.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you, everyone, for watching another episode of Send Us Flowers. And go find out what your tempo is. Bye.
Bye.